total, there were 4 adults who were struck by gunfire. At this point, the Metropolitan Police Department is asking for the community's help. We're asking for anyone who has information to please call us anonymously at 202-727-9099, or you may text us anonymously at 50411. At this point, it appears that several of the people who were in the block were specifically targeted. We're unsure why that is. We're unsure why these people were targeted, more or less why they were targeted at a funeral. We don't understand that. We're looking for the community's help. Our investigators are here. Our partners from the ATF are also here as well, and we will be here working for the next hour or so, trying to figure out what exactly happened here. That's pretty much the very preliminary information that we have right now. The other 3 people were taken to area hospitals. Right now, the injuries appear to be non-life-threatening injuries, although serious. But again, we're investigating, and that's all the information that we have at this point. I can take a few questions if you have any questions.
I just want to clarify. You said that these people were targeted. What led you to that conclusion? Why do you believe that they were targeted?
Well, they were in the block. There was a funeral, and we have people who were shot here. We haven't identified a gunman, but it appears that the individuals who were standing in the block were targeted for some reason, and that reason we're not sure.
So, Chief, were there suspects in the vehicle driving by and shooting? Were they on foot?
We don't know at this time, Mark. We're still working through to try to figure that out. Obviously, we have people here combing through evidence to try to figure that out, and we haven't. We're working, trying to see if there are any witnesses who actually witnessed the gunman. But right now, we know that we have 4 people shot and somebody fired the shot. We're just not sure who.
Was there an exchange of gunfire, more than one shooter?
It does not appear that it was an exchange of gunfire. It appears that these 4 people were near the sidewalk here, were struck by gunfire coming from a suspect or suspects, and they were struck by that gunfire.
It seems like you had people here. Was that the case?
Yeah, so there was an officer right here in the car, right here where this bus stop is. He was in his car here. Again, the funeral had ended. People were milling about when this shooting happened, and we're trying to find out who fired the shots at the end of this funeral.
So, Chief, was the officer stationed here because of the funeral?
The officer was in the area. The person who is the funeral was for was a homicide victim in the latter part of March. So at the family's request, oftentimes we do when we have homicide victims, we will extend, additional police presence in the area of a funeral. We'll do that. That's routine, not anything that's out of the ordinary, especially when we're talking about homicide victims.
So a lot of people who were here before you arrived, immediately after the shooting, were really upset about that. They were really upset vocally with your officers, talking about you had an officer here, and yet still someone was able to come up here and murder one person and shoot 3 others while you had an officer just feet away.
Yeah, I think that speaks to the brazenness of some of the people that we see commit violent acts in our communities. It's the reason why I will keep saying what I have to say about violent criminals. When we have people who demonstrate this level of violence in our communities, quite frankly, I don't think that we make excuses for people who do these types of crimes. I mean, they need to be ultimately held accountable for their actions, and we need to do the work hard in order to get us there. It's unfortunate that someone would be so brazen to do such an act, let alone at a funeral. I mean, how low can you be of a human being to target other people at a funeral? My goal is to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to track the person or persons responsible down, and we're asking for the community's help in that space.
I understand there was another shooting in that street southeast. Can you tell us anything about that and what you guys are looking at a connection?
So right now, very preliminarily, it doesn't appear to be a connection to that shooting, but we're unsure. This is very early in the investigation. It's not too far away from here. We have officers there on that scene. We have detectives there on that scene trying to get to the bottom of what happened there. Right now, it doesn't appear to be related. But again, if there's information in the community that people are willing to share with us that lets us know that it is connected or is not connected, or who the suspect is in that shooting, that would be very helpful information.
Was this family fearful of violence at this funeral?
I don't know that they were specifically fearful of violence, but obviously their loved one died as a result of gun violence. So I think it's prudent to that there could be some reasonable fear there for anyone. You don't know who killed your loved one. People have concerns about that kind of thing. And again, like I said, it's not anything out of the ordinary. Our victim services, who oftentimes work with families, families will request that. Sometimes they'll say, we don't want any police near the funeral. We just want to kind of be able to grieve. Unfortunately, in this case, someone decided to disrespect this family at this level and commit this senseless act of violence at the Skid's funeral.
So was your officer here at the request of the family?
Say it again?
Was your officer here at the request of the family?
Yes. So there was a request by the family through our victim services branch for additional police presence at the funeral. Like I said, the funeral was over at this point. The funeral ended around 12, so this is about 17, 18 minutes after the funeral was over when the shooting occurred. And your question, sir?
Can you tell us the weapon that was used?
No, it's too early. I can't tell you the type of weapon that was used. Any other questions?
Do you know how many shots were fired?
I don't know how many shots. Last question? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we were just listening to a press conference from Chief Contee there with the Metropolitan Police Department, speaking about a shooting outside a funeral around 12:17, just before 12:30 this afternoon. That funeral was for a homicide victim. 4 people were shot. 1 person is dead. The 3 others were taken to a hospital. This happened in the 4000 block of Benning Road Northeast. Now, he also said that several people may have been targeted in that shooting. He's trying to figure out what happened there. So far, no arrests have been made. There was an officer outside the funeral at the request of the family members for that homicide victim that was being laid to rest there. And again, so far, there have been at least 60 homicides in the district this year. That's a 30% increase compared to this time last year. And according to Gun Violence Archive, they say as of this morning, there have been 146 mass shootings in the U.S. A mass shooting is defined as 4 or more people, not including the shooter, shot.